Friends, good morning, good evening. I apologize for being a minute late. Believe it or not, I just spilled a bottle of sparkling water all over right where I'm standing. So somebody's had to come and help me. It's real life, folks. One of the great singers, one of the great writer, lyricist, songwriter teams of all time was Lennon and McCartney. 10 years ago, they together wrote a song called "The Long and Winding Road." And in some respects, I feel like we are reaching the end of what has been a long and winding road. And what is that long and winding road? It is a complete transformation of society that started back at about the time with the advent of COVID. That's when it began. And things changed. The business that I've been in for many, many, many years was an event driven business. It was about bringing people together. And things changed at the same time that the COVID mask mandates came along. Then the advent of accessible artificial intelligence began being talked about. Those two things came together at one time. And over the course of the years since then, as people have been poking and prodding and trying to figure out, is the world going back to what it once was? Is it permanently changed? Is the change good? Is it bad? It's become evident that, in fact, no, the world's not going back. It never does. That never happens. This moment in time is very much like the moment in time when I remember in 1982, I was sitting at Andy Kay's office, and Andy Kay was a visionary. He was also the founder of a company called K-Pro Computer. He could see the future. He told me that day, he said, "Randy, the day will come when every desktop has one of these boxes on it." He could see it, I could not. Now, was that a good thing or was it a bad thing? Well, it depends. If you were selling handheld calculators, that was probably a bad thing. If you were selling an abacus, that was a very, very bad thing. On the other hand, if you were one who recognized that that change was creating a moment of profound opportunity, that while one would be mandated to use the technology, the whole society was forced to become computerized, we had a choice as to whether we became a conduit, a catalyst in other people's use. Was change good? It depends. A couple of years later came the internet. And I remember again that very first dial up modem and waiting for so long for a website to launch. And I could not see, my vision was this close. I couldn't see that the entire global society would be required to adopt that technology. I just couldn't see it. Now, was it a good thing or was it a bad thing? Well, that depends. That depends on a lot. If you were one who counted on business travel, maybe it was a bad thing. Certainly, it's become a bad thing. I'm required to travel a lot less for business today than I used to travel before the advent of the internet. Was it a good thing or was it a bad thing? It was simply a thing, and whether it was good or bad depended on how one acted upon it. We now find ourselves at a similar point in time where the entire society will be forced. There is no option, just as there was no option to become computerized and there was no option to utilize the internet. We are now living through the moment in time when society is being required to adopt AI. This company, LEV AI, that stands for Leveraging Artificial Intelligence, is a company that is helping you participate such that the inevitable widespread adoption of this technology winds up accruing to your benefit. Was the Industrial Revolution good? Well, that depends, doesn't it? If you were selling teams of horses that would pull plows, then no, it wasn't good. If you were delivering John Deere tractors, then it was good. Is the advent of accessible artificial intelligence good or not? That depends entirely on how we respond to that which is absolutely inevitable. This is the future in your hands. It is the future in my hands, in our hands, as we seek to not just bring artificial intelligence to that part of the world who to the part of the world who would describe themselves as professional marketers. We'll deliver a product that is sophisticated enough for the most advanced technology, for the most advanced user. But our vision, our dream is what? Our vision and dream is to bring accessible artificial intelligence to the billions of people on planet Earth who will be required to adopt. I'm so thrilled to recognize that my son Blake Schrader has been announced as the president of this company. I could not make that hire. I don't own the company. I don't make those decisions. A little later on, we'll introduce the individual and describe the people who own the company. Blake has 18 years of social commerce experience. He is an attorney. He was the successful developer of the Monavi business in Europe, in Latin America, much of it, and also in the Middle East. Blake later became the CEO of Medical Marijuana Incorporated and guided that company through the end of the prohibition of cannabis. His non-compete agreement has recently expired, making him eligible to guide this company into the future. And I look with such complete fascination on the magnitude of the change that is occurring. Here we see the deepest of the deep minds at DeepMind, Demis Hassabis stating the difference here with AI is it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution. Folks, try to understand the magnitude of what we now contemplate. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, recently stated that AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we have done in the past. This is not one of the meaningful moments of change in our lives. This is one of the three most impactful moments of change in my life. I'm 67 years old. And so I was there for the advent of computerization. I was there for the advent of the internet. Were you not there for those? If you are enough younger than me that you were not there for those, then this is the first complete, total, absolute, irrevocable societal change that you have yet had a chance to participate in. The question is simply, will you just go along with the flow and use the technology, as most will, to their benefit, or will you become a catalyst in other people's decision to utilize that technology and to understand it, to profitably leverage it in a shorter period of time? If so, the rewards are absolutely if not immeasurable, they're hard to accurately project. Because why? Because if as Sundar Pichai states, this is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past, if according to Deep Minds, this is going to be bigger, 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and 10 times faster, it's hard for us to even quantify the magnitude of change that we are now experiencing. Hard to quantify. We'll see it with clarity looking back. I'm hoping this short conversation can help you see it with a little more clarity looking forward. LEV that's a company. It stands for Leveraging Artificial Intelligence. The concept is to bring accessible AI to the masses, to the billions of people on planet Earth who will be required to adopt. LEV makes it simple for entrepreneurs to launch, market, and grow businesses. There are a host of problems that LEV seeks to and will solve. Today, there are a small segment of society, about 3% of the global population, attempting to use AI right now. A larger percentage of a small segment of society, professional marketers, attempting to use AI. And when they attempt to use, what they find is a very, very confusing landscape requiring a different application for CRM solutions, for social media, for website building, and so on. There is a single solution to that group of problems, and that single solution is this company, which you are now being invited to participate in, either as a product user. We extend to you a special invitation for you to become a part of the basic foundation of leadership upon which decades of growth is later constructed. That is the magnitude of this possibility. The biggest change in the way life and business is conducted in the last 100 years is unfolding right before us, right now, as we speak. And you are being invited to participate in the creation of a foundation, which will do what? Make building and maintaining customer and candidate lists easier for all small businesses. Create confidence about what every solopreneur, entrepreneur, sidepreneur, great confidence in what the dialogue is in the engagement process. And critically important to remove the barriers that cause people to feel stuck. And over the course of my career in entrepreneurship, which has been, I'm a little guy, not a big guy, in the smallness of my world, my successes shock me. I never envisioned that I would be involved in a business where my organizations would have created more than 5 billion US dollars in sales. And yet that's occurred. That's really happened. But over the course of that experience, so profoundly positive for me, I observed really great people, people more talented, more skilled than I, who somehow found themselves stuck. They were frozen behind a wall of fear, which was fear, insecurity, doubt, some expressions of the same thing that caused them to simply not act. There was the opportunity. It was so clear. They could see it as clearly as I could, but somehow they weren't able to get over the barriers of the doubts, fears, and the insecurities. This will do that. A lot bigger percentage of people who stick their toe in the water of entrepreneurship for the first time will find it to be a comfortable place instead of an uncomfortable place as a result of what LEV brings to market. We can help remove the fear of failure. How? By helping people start succeeding instead of failing. A series of solutions. We'll talk about each one quickly. My AI social to grow online presence and consistency. My network to create customer relationship management advantages. Instantly build websites. The daily Daily guides, daily prompts, daily pushes to get a person back to the center line, back to the fundamentally correct activities required to succeed, not just in business, but in life. And then an actual availability of candidates with whom to practice as you likewise grow a business. Let's talk about each one quickly. It is evident today that one can measure tomorrow's results by measuring today's influence. If I meet a person who today has broad influence, I know they will have great results tomorrow. How might I measure their influence? By measuring their social media presence. One of the first things that will happen with LEV AI, as soon as you begin using our suite of tools, our solution. And by the way, in a conversation yesterday, a person asked Blake, it was Blake and I and a gentleman on the call, and a person asked Blake, are these all just independent apps that are just being lumped together? They don't really communicate, or are these actual communicative? Is this where one part of the Lev AI solution is working in concert with the other part? Or is this just a mixed bag who have all been thrown together? No, no. Each component is communicating with the other component. It is not five separate things. It is one thing with five separate utilizations that dovetail together completely beautifully. And we will help you begin growing your social media presence literally overnight every time. And by the way, I think it will be quite possible for many people to experience zero cost for utilizing our product. You say, how can there be zero cost? Because you're able to eliminate other solutions, other less effective solutions that cost more. You will no longer need to use whatever you're using for a CRM. I'm virtually certain of that. Why? Because we have a very robust customer relationship management tool inclusive in the Lev AI solution. And what we do is better. How is it better? Well, it will begin telling you about every candidate, every contact you import. As soon as you do a simple screenshot import, your Lev AI solutions will start telling you what each candidate wants. And how will they know? They will know by scanning and by researching and reporting back to you on social media profiles, giving the entrepreneur the legitimate ability from the start to begin interacting with contacts about what they want to talk about. I realized that at an earlier time in my career, I was spinning my wheels. Why? Because I was trying to provoke people to do what I wanted them to do for my benefit. That's bad thinking. And one day a wake up call. No, Randy, find a way to learn what other people want and then help them do that at some personal or economic advantage. Well, I found a way, Lev AI. And you also will find out what took me years in basically developing a pattern of living that caused me to be quiet and to listen. Well, now guess what? Lev AI starts listening for us and telling us what people want to hear. Simple screenshot import, as I've described, contact enhancement. It tells you what every candidate wants to know when and why. We'll no longer need to spend money on building and maintaining websites. Your Lev AI solution does that for you. And then I imagine how dramatically different would it have been if over the course of my career, now some 35 years of building leadership hierarchies and structures for the purpose of delivering goods and services on a global scale through that structure, had so many fantastic people get off course, just get off course. I imagine how great it would have been, so many talented people, if I or if their chosen leader had been able to literally be side by side them every day in their first 30 or first 90 or first 365 days, constantly prompting them, reminding them what's the next correct activity? What's the next revenue producing activity? What's the next behavior we can engage in that will make us a more attractive personality such that more people want to be in business with us, constantly guiding us back? Well, in a big business that frequently in my organizations that have had hundreds of thousands or even millions of people participating at some level, how much time could I have for everyone? Zero. But what if suddenly, as a result of what you're going to learn about, what about utilizing the AI solution? And suddenly I could be literally in the hip pocket of every one of those people who are turning to me as a primary leader. If people are turning to you as a leader, you can be with them every step of the way. So whether you're one seeking to develop leadership attributes or whether you're one who has spent your life developing those attributes already would now like to benefit more people, welcome to Lev AI, and you will be thrilled with the immediate change in outcome as we begin to guide people back to the center line every day. And then remember, we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that so many great people, not good, great people, attempt entrepreneurship and find it to be a challenge. Now, why do you suppose that is? There are a variety of reasons, but I think the most consistent one is this. Most of us started as employees. We had a job. And for some, that's where they should be. The world needs great employees. Entrepreneurs need great employees. Employees also need great entrepreneurs because that's what provides the job. Well, if we started out as an employee and then found out the shoes didn't really fit, I want to work when I want, where I want, with whom I want, and if I want, and I want to establish my own worth. Well, I've never seen that in a job description. That's describing entrepreneurship. And so when one realizes that the relative security of employment, the relative security, what do I mean by that? We know when to go to work and when to go home. We know what the parameters are. If we stay inside the bounds, we'll probably have at least several years in that employment, if not an entire career. If we find out those shoes don't fit us, we want entrepreneurship. Suddenly, we understand why it is that the entrepreneur makes more than the employee. It is because they must be proactive instead of reactive. Instead of reacting to the demands of the job, they must become proactive in the demands of the business, having the ability for the daily prompts to keep us on that new path of proactivity through entrepreneurship, and then having an ability to having literally, well, I'll keep this completely in focus, to have some, I won't say the number, but to have some candidates who want to know what you have to say. Would it not be so much easier? Hey, Randy, you know something I'd like to know more about. Can you share that information with me? Is that not a lot easier than me trying to guess out there who might be interested in a project that's important to me? Of course it is. I've stayed away from lead generation programs throughout my career simply because I've been concerned about people spending money and not getting the outcome they hoped for, not getting a new contact, not getting a new customer or a new user of the service. But what if there is simply no added cost? What if it's inclusive therein? Then you see there is no downside. There's a lot to this, and there's so much we haven't discussed yet. Every plan includes your own avatar that looks like you, or you can pick one from the library. Looks like you, sounds like you. You can give it any script, or you can use your personalized GPT to create one. A personalized GPT, yes. 700 million people in the world logged into Chat GPT today or this week, and they did it to get answers to questions and solutions to problems. It's a good service. They got them. They got answers and they got solutions. Good answers and good solutions, but not perfect answers, not perfect solutions. Why? Because ChatGPT was pulling from a generic body of knowledge. ChatGPT was not pulling from the body of knowledge of your particular teacher, coach, or mentor. It was not pulling from your compensation plan. It was not pulling from your company's culture. See, you can give it any script, or you can use your personalized GPT to pull from the body of knowledge most appropriate to create the perfect script and the perfect solution. And the beautiful thing is that your AI twin can speak, it says in dozens, in 150 languages fluently. I wish that I could illustrate this for you right now. Please, please, please do not miss tomorrow night's corporate update. I'm quite confident that Blake will announce the formal opening, and I'm quite confident that it's sooner than you think. It's like right away. We are knocking on the door, and I am certain that you will see further demonstrations of the personalized avatars. And in fact, I believe that you might tomorrow see a demonstration of the interactive avatar. The company is racing ahead, not moving ahead, racing ahead. With your video, give it your script and help AI write your message, and your twin will say it better than you can in literally any language that is appropriate for your candidate list. Features and pricing, the basic package is only $49. That I consider to be almost ridiculously inexpensive. The Pro Pack is $99. What is included? Go quickly through these, and Blake will describe these in further detail tomorrow night. Once again, please do not miss tomorrow night's corporate announcement session. It will set the stage for our impending opening, which is days away. What is exactly in that video? Your voice, speak your likeness, your voice speaking your script flawlessly in dozens of languages, and you can even use your personalized GPT to write the script. We'll begin immediately improving your social media engagement and therefore growing your future value by improving your social media presence. We can add as many business profiles as you choose into the Pro package for those who have larger businesses, bigger, and I'm going to say bigger life, different lives that demand multiple methods, multiple types of messages to deliver. I absolutely love the CRM with screenshot import, which gives us the ability to talk about what the contact wants to talk about, not what we want to talk about, giving them an ability to achieve what they want at some economic advantage and having our results be secondary to theirs. That is a fundamentally correct way to do business. And I could not be more pleased with the idea that I don't have to pay anybody to build our website or to manage it anymore, because that becomes a several button click. I've created a website myself using the technology. And I love the fact that we will all begin to develop our skills by interacting with a group of candidates on a monthly basis who have asked that we contact them, as opposed to us needing to provoke the conversation. I believe that by reacting to the request of the contact, that will grow confidence. As confidence grows, poise, self-confidence goes up, skills are developed, and suddenly we become that attractive leader to which others are drawn. And now, folks, bang the gong and ring the bell. As recently as 10 days ago, it was anticipated that we might only have a small handful of people in the whole company who would actually have an interactive, conversational AI digital twin. That's been changed. Almost all, maybe not the very first or second rungs on the compensation plan, but almost all will have access to you yourself in a digital twin who can be anywhere in the world, everywhere in the world, all at once, every city, nation, and state delivering your message fluently in 150 languages. When we talk about value, I reflect on the fact that over the course of my entire career, reference have done $5 billion in sales. You know what? All $5 billion worth of those products could have been bought someplace else for less money. That's the truth. Throughout my entire career, I've had to justify and explain away the price of a product. The truth is, those products have always been priced to fund a compensation plan. They've not been priced to meet the need of the consumer. That's why the network marketing industry has basically sold to itself. Now we change. Of course, we seek that handful of talented people from within that direct selling industry who have developed the habits and patterns and skills and are ready to really do something important, maybe the biggest, most important things of our lives. And that will include bringing countless tens of millions of people from outside the industry, people who simply want to use the product. See, this is not a continuation of our careers, not an extension of what we have done. This is a breakthrough moment, a different moment. And for the first time, instead of explaining away why our product costs more, now we get to say, you know what, for 99 bucks, you could not replace this for less than 315. That's the truth. And as we begin to introduce more services over the course of the next few months, you will find out that that number, that disparity between what it costs to use artificial intelligence with LEV AI and what you'd have to pay if you went and mixed and matched and tried to accomplish it all with individual subscriptions, you'll see the savings go up and up. Complete unmatched value for all members, accessible around the globe. Only a handful of markets in the world where we will not be open immediately. High member satisfaction yields stable businesses. Folks, let it not be, those whose careers have been like mine, let it not be that we spin up cycle after cycle of momentum and then spin up another momentum cycle. Let it be that we build a business that attracts countless tens of millions of users of the product or service because it's the great product at the best price, finally creating a stability of income over a long time. And if we have a stable business over a long time, that then creates the possibility to do what we always hoped for, to get paid again and again and again for adding value to other people's lives and having our positive outcome be determined by that. I think that even this slide cannot accurately describe the magnitude of the opportunity. What is it really? Almost 8 billion people on planet Earth, or maybe 8 billion plus. And I look at the fact that I have an 8-year-old little boy. Is he online every day? He is, more than I wish he was. Does he use a computer every day? Every day he uses his device, more than I wish he did. You see, what percentage of the planet that is 8 years or older is going to use AI? The same percentage who use the internet and who use computers. How big is the opportunity? It is way, way, way bigger than anything you are considering or thinking of. Once again, this is not an extension of your career. This is a chance to do something that you have never had a chance to do before. It demands that we pay attention and that we pay attention quickly. If we choose to not just use, which of course we'll be required to use, that will be thrust upon us, just like computers were and just like the internet was. The question is, will we guide others to it? If we do, those we guide will acquire the package that is appropriate for them. And each time you are that conduit to their purchase, you'll get paid 50%. Those that you personally introduce to the company on an ongoing basis, you'll be paid 20% month after month after month after month of their subscriptions. If you happen to be an influencer, I have a friend with 25 million Instagram followers. You know what? All 25 million are going to use AI, whether or not she tells them about LEV AI. If she tells them about LEV AI, those 25 million are all going to use artificial intelligence. And if she tells them about LEV AI, it will be easy for them to ascertain this is their best purchase. By making their best purchase, she'll have an opportunity to further leverage her moment in the sun that made her that influencer. You may also be a person more like me who has invested your life in developing teams, building leadership structures. For those who are more like me that have built structures, we have a simple 8 generation deep compensation plan. It is an 8 level unilevel, which includes an acquisition bonus, team commission, an infinity payout to connect significant leadership together, and a matching bonus that is predicated on all parts of the compensation plan, not based only on team commissions, which is typical. Now, I speak here borrowing a couple of Blake's slides. I am not an owner operator. I am an independent member or promoter of this company, the same that you are or can be. So I will simply now repeat the things that Blake said last week, and this will all be updated tomorrow night. Final design and testing is underway for the app. That will be available at launch or immediately thereafter. The Lev AI back office, I have had the opportunity to experiment with a bit, and it is dead sharp. It is easy, it is intuitive, and it always works. I've not had a single time when it did not. You'll have a chance to place. Many of you have already been engaged in the enrollment process, and you're wondering, when can I place these members? Because many of you have 20, 30, 40. There are a couple of people in our business that have personally enrolled over 200, all right now on the front line. Well, if they are an influencer, that's entirely appropriate. But if they want to build a team, then they need to position those 200 into 5 legs or something thereabout. You will have the opportunity to place those people 48 hours before the launch. The tool will become available 48 hours before your launch. You'll be in the back office. I've already had the opportunity to use it a little bit. It works, it's easy, it's simple, and once again, no mistakes. Multi-language support is available in the site and the back office right now in 10. That will grow quickly. And PayPal, folks, this is really important. We have had an absolute flood of people into our business. I didn't notice a minute ago if we've gone over 28,000 people yet. If we've not gone over 28,000 yet, we will sometime today. And those people are literally all over the world, literally all over the world. I think that we have more than 100 countries represented. One of the challenges of the correct launching of our business will be in having correct credit card merchant processing in each of these nations. We will do a couple of things to bridge the gap as we identify the hot spots and create local banking relationships in those markets that demand it. Meanwhile, we can use PayPal literally anywhere in the world, and it is seamless. It works. And so I would encourage any of you who are outside of the US and Canada, even if you're in a market where we have confident of credit card processing going well, I would have a fail safe, a backup, and I would establish your PayPal account. Separately, an announcement that Blake will make, and so I won't say the date, but imminently, we will also be accepting crypto. Now that I'm not going to say that that will happen on the date of launch, but in the very few days after the date of launch, we'll begin receiving crypto, thereby making global payments much more predictable. I encourage you to take a quick screenshot of each of these. Follow Lev AI on social media. Do not miss anything that is going on. This is one of the most magic moments of my life and career. That suggests that it can be for you. A tremendous sizzle video is now live. It is only 120 seconds long, or maybe not even that. Find it here, youtube.com/@GetLevAIHQ. And there you will find that video, folks. Send it to people. Just send the video to people. Something as simple as this. The advent of artificial intelligence is upon us. I'm not just going to watch. I'm going to be one of the causes. We can make money doing this and help a lot of people. Watch the video. Let me know if you want to talk. How many times a day could you send that? How many times? Send it to everyone you know. Send it to everyone you know. Realize that if you don't, someone else will, and it'll happen pretty quickly. Now, at the very outset, I said that we would describe how it is that we can be involved in a company that is at the absolute genesis and yet not suffer risk. Well, it's because a man named Terry LaCour owns the company, and his business, LaCour Enterprises, is the global service provider for Lev AI. And so, though we are a startup venture, LaCour Enterprises is not. Rapid deployment is possible due to LaCour Enterprises' decades of channel experience and history of innovation, LaCour payment technologies, access to leading back office commissions and operating history, hundreds of years of collective team experience, and over 25 years of history, which has resulted in 7 billion US dollars in revenue. You can be first and yet not suffer the risks that are typically a part and a parcel of that positioning. And so the simple question is this: are you ready to lead the AI future with Lev AI? Understand this: we're all going to use, that's not a question. The question is this: are you ready to lead the AI future with Lev AI? Now is the time to start. And that slide says Lev AI will officially launch in 2 to 3 weeks. That slide was a week ago. Blake will update that tomorrow. I can tell you that it is not 3 weeks away. And I can tell you that it is not 2 weeks away. The launching of this company is imminent, and you will learn about it tomorrow night. Please, please, please be here. If you have not yet registered, please do so. There will be no cost associated until the company launches, and you'll learn about that date tomorrow night. Please ask the person who invited you here to receive the enrollment link. And please also ask to receive a link to our WhatsApp group so you can be apprised of all that is going on and not miss any of the important updates that are happening right now. Folks, I wish so much that my communication skills were sufficient to cause you all to know and understand how completely certain I am of this bit of truth. It is and has been a long and winding road. Things that used to work don't work anymore. Is that bad or is that good? Well, nobody really plows their fields with a team of draft horses anymore, do they? Is that bad or is it good? Well, it's bad if you were making your living creating the collars and the harnesses that draft horses used. Really, really good if you were one of those who said, this is an inevitability. This is going to occur. Given that it's going to occur, let me be the cause of that which is destined to occur just a little more quickly. And that will cause you to ring the bell financially like nothing else in your life has ever made possible. Folks, the future is bright. Please do this. I'm your advocate. I'm here to help. Anything I can do to make this the best decision ever in your life, let me know. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you this evening. Bye bye.